Welcome to the D. Come on, Roger.
Right away, a winner, Detroit Lions fans. The draft was in Detroit. 275,000 people showed up to the draft.
Caleb Williams, quarterback, Southern California.
There he is, a Detroit cheer.
Hey, Detroit! Let's turn up tonight, baby! Let's get it!
The Lions players to open the draft showed a ton of excitement. Eminem was there, and you got a great draft pick. So, winners, Lions fans.
Jerry Goff! Jerry Goff! Jerry Goff!
Winning art of deception, Broncos head coach Sean Payton for tricking the Vikings into thinking he was going to trade up for J.J. McCarthyism.
I was actively involved in trying to pretend we were moving forward. In other words,
Sean's a Bo Lever, not a McCarthy loyalist. Loser, Sean Payton if he's wrong and J.J. McCarthy is better than Bo Nix. Welcome to one of my favorite episodes to make every year, the biggest winners and losers of the NFL draft. Overreacting to draft picks, both positively and negatively, assuming we know what's actually going to work and which rookies are going to slowly destroy our teams from within. I am Brandon Perna, and I would appreciate it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please do it now because I really don't want to earn your subscription by making a good video. Again, I'm pretty tired from celebrating my Bo Nix pick all night. That said, let's start with some big losers. The dumb, stupid, idiot teams who are too stupid to draft in the first round. Everyone thinks they're the Rams now, don't they? The Bills, the Browns, and the Texans. None of you picked in the first round, which means none of you will win the Super Bowl this year. Oh crap, none of you have won a Super Bowl. Winner, quarterback Drake Maye's brothers for roasting the piss out of him after he was drafted 3rd overall by the Patriots.
Pretty boy. Overrated.
Honestly, I think the Pats were huge winners by taking Drake Maye at 3. Of the top 3 quarterbacks selected, Drake can play bad year 1. He's got a built-in excuse because he doesn't have anybody to throw the fucking football to right now. Maybe that changes over the course of the draft.
I was getting emotional for a sec, but now I'm laughing now. Who let him say that?
Losers, Chargers fans. Now, ultimately, I think LA will grow to love the pick of the giant 8-year-old tackle in Joe Alt.
Joe Alt.
But in terms of giving the fans what they wanted, LA did the opposite. Los Angeles might argue by saying, what fans? Fair, but the Chargers had 2 sexy picks staring them in the face. Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze. This is a team that lost its 2 top ball catchers and then refused to replace either. Now it may be the smart move, but for fans, this is like getting a high SAT score, while all your friends were out getting drunk and receiving blowjobs, and then going out for ice cream, and petting a bunch of adorable puppies, and then playing video games until they passed out. Winners, offense. 14 straight offensive players went in this draft. And yes, I mean 14 heterosexual men who play offense were all drafted in a row. This is mostly because of the quarterbacks, right? By pick 12, half of those players off the board were QBs. The 6th and final one being Bo Nix. 4 tackles went off the board. 3 wide receivers, and of course 1 tight end, Brock Bowers, to the Raiders at 13. We didn't see a defensive player picked until 15th when the winners, the Colts, took edge rusher Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. I probably said that correct. One of the best technicians in the draft. Indy, you win simply for getting the first defender. Now, he better be one of the best in this draft, because by getting to pick any defender you want at 15 is like having the 2nd overall pick, and you can't mess that up. But after that, 8 of the last 17 picks were defense, but here was the final count in the first round. 7 wide receivers, 7 offensive tackles, 6 quarterbacks, 5 edge rushers, 3 corners, 1 center, 1 guard, and 1 tight end. I think this is a pretty good case study and how the league views positional value. Losers, anyone who doesn't play those positions. Brock Bowers might be the greatest college tight end of all time, and he fell to 13. going to division rival the Raiders, and that pick might be the most haunting for me as a Broncos fan if Bowers is a Hall of Famer. Off-ball linebackers aren't a first-round position for most teams anymore. There was never any threat of a running back sneaking into the first round this year, and neither were any of the safeties. You don't see a safety on Daniel Jeremiah's big board until 52, depending on how you see Cooper DeJean. I see him as a corner because I do not discriminate. And the best running back on his board is at 56. Value kings, again Indianapolis, but also the Seattle Seahawks, for getting the first defensive lineman in Byron Murphy at 16. And the Eagles for getting the first corner at 22. More on that in a bit. Losers, the Falcons paying Kirk Cousins
$100 million in guaranteed money.
only to draft quarterback Michael Penix at 8.
They're taking us higher, so we'll take it.
Not only that, but they failed to tell Kirk Cousins their plans, and then they failed to trade back up into the first and draft the defensive player they really wanted in edge rusher Leatu Latu. I said it right again, who Indy got at 15. Now, the only thing I like about the Falcons pick here was this tweet. The dick is in. There have been numerous Penix/penis jokes, but I think this one is the most clever. The most hilarious tweet, though, was this. Dogs in Atlanta seeing the Falcons draft a left-handed QB named Michael. Now, this was the curveball of the draft, right? Maybe the only real curveball. It curved so hard it turned around like a boomerang and it hit the pitcher right in his fucking face. Sorry, Greg Maddux, you're the pitcher. Based because he played in Atlanta. Here's the reasoning for the Michael Penix pick coming from the Falcons themselves.
When you get Kirk Cousins and you talk about short-term winning, you talk about winning right now, which we know we're going to be in a position to do, which we want to be in a position to do, we won't have the ability to be picking this high again with the guy that we got.
As I looked at the Atlanta Falcons, I believe strongly that the owner, head coach, general manager, and quarterback can all be on the same page. And
their current quarterback is so good that they have to replace him now, is essentially what this means. They're basically taking a page out of the Packers playbook when Green Bay took Jordan Love late in the 2021 round. Here's the difference. Penix is not seen as a project like Jordan Love was at the time. He was 2 years younger than Penix is right now, and Penix just finished up playing 6 years of college football, culminating in a trip to the national championship. He's fairly polished. He's ready to go. He's never been seen as a guy who needs to benefit from a couple years holding a clipboard. The Packers pick also worked out because it pissed off Aaron Rodgers. And he's into some weird shit and he has to play mad. The Falcons didn't tell Kirk that they were taking Penix until they were on the clock, and he was reportedly a little bit stunned. Basically, he was just as confused as the rest of us. But the Jordan Love pick pissed off Rodgers and turned him into a back-to-back MVP. Kirk is too nice and forgiving for that. He probably already reached out to the Vikings and apologized for the tampering. On another note, and probably the most important piece with all of this, the Falcons are set up to win now, and the right first-round pick might have pushed them over the top this year in a winnable division. They had needs, specifically at edge, and they had their pick of any defensive player on the board at that point. They were 32nd in pass rush win rate according to ESPN last year, and they had every pass rusher in the draft at their fingertips. Hell, they could have traded down a few picks and still landed Latu or Dallas Turner or corner Quinion Mitchell. Penix is a luxury pick, and in reality, there are no luxury picks when you're picking at 8. If this ends up working out, fair enough, and I guess it's a good insurance policy for having a quarterback coming off a season-ending Achilles injury, but man, this was a head-scratcher. We needed a head-scratcher in what was mostly a boring first round. So thank you, Atlanta.
that's exciting for me. And
Winners, the Bears. They got their quarterback, and Caleb Williams broke the Fanatics record for draft night merch sales. Was it because Caleb tried to bite his own jersey? I don't know, but I hope Fanatics offer Caleb Williams dresses soon, so we can see Bears fans break all fashion sales records. The Bears picked at 1 and 9. And in an absolute perfect scenario, they got Washington receiver Rome Odunze at pick 9. Rome wasn't built in an Odunze, but the Bears were. I'm gonna say that until you actually unsubscribe. Of the top 3 quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, and Drake Maye, I think Williams and Daniels are the winners for having the most weapons to work with, right? Poor Drake Maye has Kendrick Bourne and KJ Osborne. For now. Caleb, of course, has Rome and 2 talented vets, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, plus Cole Kmet, a really underrated tight end in my opinion. Jayden gets to work with Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, and Zach Ertz, and possibly a revival of Austin Eckler catching passes out of the backfield. But I think this may be the rare occasion where both of the first 2 quarterbacks drafted are actually both great. Cowboys, losers. You're all in, and then you trade back for a lineman? Losers. For all of the wheeling and dealing and gambling and rambling that Jerry Jones became famous for, he's become a real coward recently. You're not allowed to say you're all in and then trade down in the draft. You can't say you're all in and then drag out giving Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb extensions. Do something, especially if it's the wrong thing, Dallas. Winners, the New York Giants in Mr. Jones, won't you be my neighbors? Malik Nabers going to the Giants. It's simple. Get Dan Jones a weapon so you can properly evaluate him this season and then make a decision. Love this for their offense. Hey, and for the draft and during the draft only, we're doing a sale over at benchwarmerbrew.com. This is my coffee company. The subscription service is the cheapest way to get my coffee. So if you sign up now with my code LASTPICK, you'll get 25% off your first month subscription order. Again, subscription is the cheapest way to get beans. And beans are expensive, but they're fucking good. And my most predictable pick goes to the Chiefs for drafting the fastest fucking guy in the draft. And the losers there, the Bills, the Buffalo Bills giving them that guy. 1,400 people responded to their tweet announcing the trade with the Chiefs. And 98% of them were just to call the Bills dumbasses for handing over the fastest player in the history of the Combine to the team that's beaten them in the playoffs 3 times in the last 4 seasons, who also happen to have a quarterback who can get the football to a fast guy better than anyone else on earth. If I'm Brandon Beane and the Chiefs call me, I'm hanging up the phone immediately and throwing that fucker out the window and getting a burner. Then I'm trying to find out exactly who they wanted to draft and I'm taking that player. I don't care where he is on your draft board, you take him so your biggest threat can't. Instead, Buffalo handed over a 20-year-old speed demon to their greatest rivals and got a 3rd and 4th round swap out of it. Congratulations. Also, they traded out of the first round entirely, while the 49ers and Panthers took wide receivers as well. So they better have someone at wideout they really wanted that no one else did, which is starting to give me Cleveland Farrell vibes. But there is a way this move can be redeemed by the Bills. If these trades give Buffalo the ammo to make a trade for Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel, which I believe is a possibility now that the 49ers took Ricky Pearsall with the 31st pick. The Bills lost round 1, but they could win the next 2 days with 10 picks at their disposal and land one of those guys. My question for Bills fans, who would you rather have, Deebo or Ayuk? Losers, injuries. Shad Khan's son was in a neck brace for some reason. Roger Goodell was a few weeks removed from back surgery. 2 of the biggest storylines about injuries had nothing to do with players. Winning survivor, though, goes to Roger Goodell. Players were not supposed to hug and squeeze the commissioner because of his recent back surgery, and they ignored that at every turn, squeezing the piss out of him. He was walking more gingerly by the end of the night than the Falcons were around Kirk Cousins. Goodell, you're a winner. You displayed toughness. Toughness I didn't know you had. No shade. Respect, Goodell. Respect. Winners, the Vikings. Who knows if J.J. McCarthy will be good, but the Vikings, after acquiring an extra pick in the first round with the Texans back in March, didn't give up the farm to move up and draft J.J. McCarthy like we thought they might. They only had to move up 1 spot to get him, and then used their extra draft capital to move up to pick 17 and draft one of the premier edge rushers in this draft, Dallas Turner out of Alabama. ESPN's pro comp for Turner, Josh Allen. Which means Holy shit, the Vikings just played 4D chess. 4D chess in a multiverse. And they won, because if JJ McCarthy sucks, Dallas Turner can play QB like Josh Allen. Daniel Jeremiah had Turner as his 13th best prospect. Like the Falcons, edge was a position in need for Minnesota. Unlike the Falcons, Minnesota successfully was able to move up and get their guy, and they actually needed a quarterback. But this trade up for Turner led to the most pleasant surprise by Kevin O'Connell.
Turner, we're getting him.
Really?
A huge loser on draft night was, of course, LeBron James. His team has blown 3 double-digit leads at halftime and is a game away from back-to-back playoff sweeps by the Nuggets. LeBron sounds like he's prepared to join the Falcons front office, though.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Both by way of explanation and for his ability to blow big leads in the postseason. Okay, I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm really sorry. I officially lay off of you. Winners, college corners. Again, because of the insane run on offense, all of the top flight corners fell very late in the draft. Sure, their bank accounts are massive losers, giving up anywhere between $5 to $10 million in rookie signing bonuses alone, but the Eagles landed Toledo's Quinion Mitchell at 22, steal. The Lions selected Alabama corner Terrion Arnold at 24 after trading up with the Cowboys, steal. And Clemson corner Nate Wiggins, quote the Ravens, evermore at 30. Don't know if he's a steal. But those 3 corners are all placed on very good teams, assuming the Eagles are good. But they have a chance to make huge impacts from their position and ultimately turn themselves into some of the highest paid players at their position in 4 to 5 years. One of these guys could be the next Pat Surtain or Sauce Gardner, but on teams that don't waste their talent early. Bonus winner Terrion Arnold getting to experience Lions fans loving on him in Detroit.
Hey, I'm home, man. I'm home.
Loser David Tepper. The Panthers owner is at it again. This time he walked into a Charlotte restaurant and started being a huge weirdo, including taking a guy's hat off his head. Why did he do this? Because outside of the restaurant, there was a sign that said, "Let the coach and GM pick." Imagine putting out that fairly innocuous sign, one that I think 99.9% of Panthers fans can get behind, and the only person who could possibly be offended by it just happens to see it and walk in. Knowing Tepper, someone probably sent him a picture, one of his many spies, and he helicoptered in to give these pores a piece of his mind. All things considered, though, this is probably the most restrained Tepper gets, but rest assured, this restaurant will lose its food and alcohol license in record time, and the owner will wake up in Tepper's basement after he burns that thing to the ground Tony Soprano style. I doubt David Tepper was a huge Xavier Leggett guy, so it sounded like the coach and GM made the receiver pick at 32. And you know what, Carolina? You needed a wide receiver, and you might have got a good one at the end of the first round. Winning snake job? The Jacksonville Jaguars trading back with the Vikings and drafting receiver Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU before he got to the Bills at 28. Jags went from 17 to 23 and netted 3 extra picks. Just a 5th rounder this year, but also a 3rd and 4th next season, while getting one of my favorite ball catchers in the draft. Thomas has been compared to DK Metcalf quite a bit, and if Trevor Lawrence can just huck him the ball deep down the field, the Jags might pick up where they left off after the 2022 season. Also winning, Brian Thomas Jr.'s family.
It's awesome feeling.
Sandra, how far has this family come? We came from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I think we're all tired of ESPN mining sob stories out of every single draft pick, and the best way to answer the question, how far has this family come, is to say quite literally how far you've come.
We came from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And the only way this would have been any better if she said 1,123 miles to be exact via I-59 and I-65. Winners, Broncos. Cautiously, my Broncos. Yes, my Super Bowl is this year's draft, okay? I can't even say my team won the offseason because our free agency was non-existent due to taking the bulk of the Russell Wilson dead cap hit this year, but I like the Bo Nix picks. Sue me.
Really?
Now, for some reason, Bo Nix is still taking shit for not being good his first couple years in college at Auburn, which seems a bit wild. It would be like saying Josh Allen sucks, basing it all off his rookie season still. Nix was an incredible college quarterback last year. That is a fact.
Really?
Does that mean he will be good in the NFL? No. But Denver is in a better situation than they were before the draft. Bo Nix had 5 turnover-worthy plays in 2023. Not only was that the best of any QB in 2023, that's on 470 passing attempts. And his top target, Troy Franklin, didn't even go in the first round. Just 5 times, Nix put the ball in the wrong place last year. I accidentally sit on my balls more than that during an NFL season by putting them in the wrong place. Yesterday, I compared him to Dan Marino, based on where he was drafted, okay? 6th QB, and the only other draft that had 6 first-round quarterbacks. But today, my comp for Bo Nix, after really thinking about it, is Tom Brady, except he's more ready to start in the NFL. Suck it, haters. Suck it. I apologize. I have made this mistake before, and I don't know why I keep setting myself up to be hurt. Nick Saban, though, refers to Bo Nix as
the most accurate guy in this draft. And everybody could say, well, 70% of his balls were 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. But in Sean Payton's offense, you got to get the ball out of your hand, you get it out quick, and you got to be accurate. And I think he fits.
Good fit. Winner, C.J. Stroud, telling us how good the 49ers will be with
Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall.
The Niners select.
CJ was pretty upset that the Texans missed out on him, but then again, how many wide receivers do you need, CJ? Although maybe CJ is like Atlanta, thinking about 2025 after Diggs is ultimately gone. And those are your real winners and losers from the first round of the NFL draft. Please subscribe here on YouTube. We'll have a Broncos full draft breakdown this weekend, and once the whole draft concludes, I'll have a more bigger picture draft recap that you can come check out here.